I've photographed civil wars, natural disasters, and human suffering across 43 countries. Nothing prepares you for the moment your wife's phone lights up with, "Can't wait for tomorrow. Meet at the usual place. You will be gone for 2 weeks." My finger hovers over the message. I'm supposed to be on a plane to Jordan tomorrow. My last major assignment before semi-retirement. Instead, I'm about to discover how 26 years of marriage can unravel in 26 seconds. My name is Preston Foster. I'm 55 years old, and until 3 months ago, I thought I had it all figured out. A successful career that had taken me around the world, but still let me come home to a beautiful academic wife who'd stuck with me through the dangerous assignments and long absences. A son in college making us proud. A comfortable home in Boston where we planned to grow old together. What a joke that seems like now. I was packing for what was supposed to be my final international assignment, a retrospective on refugee communities I documented a decade ago. When I found it, Emily had left her laptop open on our bed, her email account still signed in. I wasn't snooping, just moving it to the nightstand when a message preview caught my eye. "Can't wait for tomorrow. Meet at the usual place. You will be gone for 2 weeks." The sender, Edwin Holloway, the husband of Emily's colleague at the university. A man who'd sat at our dinner table, laughed at my jokes, discussed politics while I poured him expensive scotch. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. I told myself there must be an explanation. Maybe it was work-related. Emily and Hazel collaborated on campus events sometimes. But deep down, I already knew. I clicked the message. "Emily, can't wait for tomorrow. Meet at the usual place. You will be gone for 2 weeks. 2 whole weeks without worrying about him coming home early. I've booked our room in the harbor view. Pack that red thing I like. I want to spend hours taking it off you." The blood in my veins turned to ice. I scrolled up, my hands trembling as I read through weeks, no months, of messages. Hotel meetups, explicit fantasies, inside jokes about me, the oblivious husband always leaving for assignments. I heard Emily's key in the front door. Quick footsteps on the stairs. I closed the laptop, set it exactly where I'd found it, and continued packing as if my world hadn't just imploded. "Hey, you almost ready?" Emily asked, breezing into the room. She kissed my cheek and sat on the edge of the bed. She was wearing a new blouse I hadn't seen before. Was it for him? Just about. I managed, zipping my camera bag, double-checking my gear. 2 weeks will fly by, she said, squeezing my arm. I've got that faculty retreat this weekend anyway. Faculty retreat. The lie came so easily to her that I almost admired her performance. 26 years of marriage, and I was looking at a stranger. "I need to swing by the office before my flight," I said, forcing a smile. "Mind if I take off a bit early?" She looked relieved. "Of course not. I've got papers to grade anyway." More lies. I kissed her goodbye, the woman I'd loved for half my life, and walked out knowing nothing would ever be the same. But I wasn't going to confront her. Not yet. First, I needed a plan. And as I drove away from our home, a cold clarity settled over me. If Emily wanted to destroy our marriage, I'd make sure she wasn't the only one who lost everything. I pulled over, took out my phone, and searched for Hazel Holloway's contact information. Finding Hazel Holloway wasn't difficult. As a political consultant whose name appeared in local news, her contact information was practically public domain. I sat in my car outside the university, staring at her office number on my phone. My flight to Jordan was in 6 hours, but this couldn't wait. "Hazel Holloway," she answered on the second ring, her voice crisp and professional. "Ms. Holloway, my name is Preston Foster. I'm Emily Foster's husband." I paused. I was hoping we could meet. "It's urgent. May I ask what this is regarding?" "I'd rather discuss it in person. It concerns your husband as well." Her breath hitched slightly. "I see. There's a coffee shop called Blackbird on Commonwealth Avenue. I can meet you there in 30 minutes. The Blackbird was half empty when I arrived. 10 minutes later, a woman in a tailored navy suit walked in. She was striking, tall, with dark hair cut in a sleek bob. "Mr. Foster," she said, extending her hand as if this were any normal business meeting. I reached into my bag and pulled out my tablet, opened it to the screenshots I'd taken, and turned it toward her. "Your husband is having an affair with my wife." Her expression remained controlled as she took the tablet, but her knuckles whitened around the edges. She scrolled slowly through the messages, then set the tablet down gently. "How long have you known?" she asked, her voice steady. I found out this morning, and you're telling me because you deserve to know, and because I'm trying to decide what to do next. Hazel removed her designer glasses. Most men would have already thrown a punch or burned their wardrobe. She leaned forward. I've worked in politics for 20 years. Do you know what that teaches you? Everyone has secrets. Everyone lies. And the person who controls the narrative wins. So what are you suggesting? They think they're smarter than us. Let's prove them wrong. She checked her watch. I need to go, but we should continue this conversation. Tonight. I can't. I have a flight to Jordan at 7 p.m. A 2-week assignment. A smile crossed her face. Perfect. That's when they're planning their rendezvous, isn't it? While you're away. She pulled out a business card and wrote something on the back. Cancel your flight. Meet me at this address at 8 p.m. We have planning to do. As she stood to leave, I said, I've spent my career documenting other people's tragedies. I never thought I'd be living one. This isn't a tragedy, Mr. Foster. It's an opportunity for justice. She slipped her glasses back on, and possibly a bit of well-deserved revenge. I arrived at the address Hazel had given me at exactly 8 p.m., an upscale hotel bar in Back Bay. Smart choice. Neutral territory where we wouldn't be recognized. Hazel sat at a corner table, nursing a martini. She wore the same professional outfit from earlier, minus the blazer. Mr. Foster, she nodded as I sat. I took the liberty of ordering you a scotch. You've done your homework, I said, noting my preferred drink. Know your allies as well as your enemies. First rule of politics. She slid a folder across the table. And speaking of enemies, here's what I've gathered about their affair. Inside were hotel receipts, restaurant bills, parking tickets, all documenting times Emily and Edwin had met over the past 6 months. How'd you get these? Edwin's a creature of habit. Uses the same credit card for everything. She sipped her drink. The question is, what do we do with this information? Confront them. Amateur move. They'll just deny it, make promises, and get sneakier. Then what? We catch them in the act. Publicly. Her eyes glinted. Your wife thinks you're overseas. My husband thinks I'm attending a conference. They're planning their rendezvous at the Harborview Hotel tomorrow night. And we just show up. Not quite. The annual alumni gala is happening in the same hotel ballroom. Every university donor and faculty member will be there. I saw where she was headed. You want to expose them at the gala. Maximum impact. Emily's reputation at the university, Edwin's political aspirations, gone in one night. That seems cruel. Wasn't it cruel when they decided to betray us? Something flashed in her eyes, not just anger but pain. They humiliated us, Preston. They deserve the same. My phone buzzed. A text from Emily. Miss you already. Have a safe flight. I showed Hazel, who laughed bitterly. My husband sent almost the exact same message. I'm in, I said. What's the plan? I've secured us tickets to the gala. You'll need a tuxedo. And bring your camera gear. My camera. You're a photojournalist, aren't you? Let's document their downfall. As Hazel outlined her plan, I realized I'd underestimated her. This wasn't just revenge, it was a surgical strike. One more thing, she said, sliding a hotel key card across the table. I've booked you a room here. Why? Because your wife is expecting you to call from Jordan tonight. She was right. Again. I'll need to call my son, I said. Connor will worry if I don't check in. Hazel nodded. Of course. Family first. The phrase hit me like a punch to the gut. Family first. The motto Emily and I had lived by. Or so I thought. As she stood to leave, I found myself asking, how are you so calm about all this? Hazel paused. Mr. Foster, in my line of work, I've learned to never let opponents see your pain. Save it for when you're alone. Her composed facade cracked slightly. Trust me, I'm screaming on the inside. After she left, I called Connor. Hey Dad, how's Jordan? His voice was bright, focused on his own world. Still at the airport, buddy. Delay on the runway. The lie came easier than expected. Just want to check in. How's the photography project going? Finished it last night. Professor says I've got your eye. I smiled despite everything. Good. Listen, reception might be spotty for a few days. Dad, I'm 20. I think I can handle it. He paused. Hey, tell Mom I'll be home next weekend. My roommate's family is coming for Parents' Day. My heart sank. Connor would be home next weekend, expecting to find his mother there. Instead, he'd find a battlefield of a marriage in ruins. I spent the next morning in a daze, pacing my hotel room like a caged animal. Every few minutes, my phone would buzz with a text from Emily, each message another knife twist. Hope you landed safely. Did you meet with the refugee family yet? Don't forget to take your malaria pills. The concern, the domestic reminders, all part of the performance she'd been putting on for months. I wanted to hurl my phone against the wall, but settled for turning it face down on the nightstand. At noon, Hazel called. I need you at Huntington Taylor's in an hour, she said without preamble. We need to get you fitted for tonight. I already have a tuxedo, I replied. No offense, but journalists aren't known for their sartorial choices. This is a high-profile university gala. You need to look the part. I could have argued, but what was the point? Nothing in my life was following its usual script anymore. The tailor shop was one of those old-school Boston establishments where the staff knew Hazel by name. They had me outfitted in a custom tux faster than I could say credit card debt. The whole time, Hazel circled like a general inspecting troops. You clean up nicely, Mr. Foster, she remarked as the tailor made final adjustments. Emily will be in for one hell of a surprise. That's putting it mildly, I muttered. What about you? What are you wearing to this ambush? Something red, she said, a cold smile playing at her lips. It's both eye-catching and symbolic, don't you think? As we left the shop, I caught Hazel checking her phone, her expression darkening momentarily. Everything okay? I asked. Peachy, she said, but her tone told a different story. Just a text from Edwin asking what time I'm leaving for the conference. She tucked her phone away. They have no idea what's coming. Back at the hotel, I set up my camera equipment. If we were going to document this disaster, I'd do it properly. As I adjusted my favorite lens, my phone rang. It was Connor. Dad, why didn't you tell me? His voice was a mix of excitement and hurt. My heart froze. Tell you what, they are being considered for the Parkinson Prize. Mom just told me. She said it's why you're in Jordan. The committee is reviewing your refugee work. I almost dropped the phone. The Parkinson Prize was the photojournalism equivalent of the Pulitzer. I've been nominated years ago, but never won. And I certainly hadn't been nominated this year. That's news to me, I managed. Mom said it was supposed to be a secret, but she was so proud she had to tell me. She said you didn't want to jinx it. My hands tightened around the phone. Another lie. But why? Why make up something so specific, so verifiable? Listen, Connor, I've got to go. Interview starting soon. After hanging up, I called Hazel immediately. Emily told Connor I'm being considered for the Parkinson Prize. I said without greeting. That's why I'm supposedly in Jordan. Hazel was silent for a moment. That's interesting. Interesting? It's bizarre. Why lie about something so easily disproven? Because she needs to build you up before she tears you down, Hazel said, her voice suddenly tired. Think about it. If she's planning to leave you for Edwin, she needs a narrative. The distracted, ambitious husband who's never home. The prestigious award that keeps you away while she's suffering alone. The realization hit me like a freight train. She's setting me up to be the bad guy in the divorce. Bingo. Standard operating procedure. Edwin did the same to me last year. Told everyone I was having an emotional affair with a campaign manager. Completely fabricated, but it laid groundwork. I sat heavily on the bed. This wasn't just an affair. It was a calculated dismantling of our life together. What time is the gala? I asked, my resolve hardening. 7 sharp. I'll meet you in the lobby at 6:30. I'll be there. And Hazel? Thanks for having my back. Don't thank me yet, Preston. The real storm's just beginning. The gala was in full swing when Hazel and I arrived. The Harborview Hotel ballroom glittered with Boston academic royalty, department heads, trustees, donors with deep pockets and deeper connections. Hazel looked stunning in a form-fitting red dress that screamed confidence. I felt like an imposter in my borrowed armor of Italian wool and silk. Smile, she whispered, her arm linked through mine. Tonight we're the happy couple. Any sign of them? I scanned the room, camera bag slung over my shoulder. Not yet, but according to the hotel front desk, they checked in an hour ago. Room 842. She sipped champagne, eyes cool over the rim of her glass. They'll make their appearance once they think the coast is clear. We mingled, Hazel introducing me to people as an acclaimed photojournalist documenting university contributions to global causes. No one questioned my presence, least of all with Hazel's political clout backing me. Then I saw them. Emily entered first, wearing a midnight blue dress I'd never seen before. She looked radiant, glowing with a happiness I realized hadn't been present around me for months. Edwin followed seconds later, entering from a different door, but making a beeline toward her like a heat-seeking missile. I lifted my camera instinctively, capturing their body language, the familiar way his hand brushed her lower back, the intimate smiles they exchanged. "Showtime," Hazel murmured, her posture straightening. "Let them get comfortable first." We watched as they worked the room separately, maintaining a professional distance in public, while exchanging heated glances when they thought no one was looking. I kept shooting, documenting it all. "Ready?" Hazel asked 20 minutes later, as Emily and Edwin drifted toward a quiet corner. My heart hammered against my ribs. "As I'll ever be." We approached them, just as Edwin leaned in to whisper something in Emily's ear that made her laugh. A throaty, private sound I once thought belonged only to me. "Emily," I said, my voice somehow steady. "Surprise." She froze, color draining from her face. "Preston? What? Why aren't you in Jordan?" In her shock, she didn't notice Hazel stepping up beside me. "Hello, darling," Hazel said to Edwin, whose expression morphed from confusion to panic. "I thought you'd be interested to know. I ran into Preston here at the airport yesterday. Turns out we both had trips canceled. Isn't that a coincidence?" Emily's eyes darted between us, realization dawning. "This isn't what it looks like." "Really?" I held up my camera. "Because I've got about 100 photos that tell a different story." Edwin finally found his voice. "Hazel, we should discuss this privately." "Oh, I don't think so," Hazel replied, her voice carrying just enough to draw attention from nearby guests. "I think we've all had quite enough privacy." A crowd had begun to gather around us, drawn by the tension crackling in the air. Emily's colleagues watched with undisguised curiosity as her professional facade crumbled. "Preston, please," Emily hissed, grabbing my arm. "We can discuss this privately." I pulled away. "Like you've been discussing things privately with Edwin for the past 6 months." Edwin stepped forward, his political training kicking in. "Everyone, let's calm down. This is clearly a misunderstanding." "Is this a misunderstanding too?" I pulled out my phone, showing them the screenshots of their messages, or the hotel receipts, or the dinner reservations. The whispers around us grew louder. Emily's department chair was watching, mouth agape. A trustee I recognized from university functions slowly backed away, as if infidelity might be contagious. "You had no right to go through my phone," Emily said, trying for indignation but achieving only panic. "And you had no right to throw away 26 years of marriage," I replied, my voice carrying. "But here we are." Edwin turned to Hazel, attempting damage control. "Honey, I can explain." "Save it for your resignation letter," Hazel cut in. "Senator Collins will be fascinated to learn his trusted aide has been sleeping with a professor whose department receives state funding." Conflict of interest is such an ugly phrase in politics. Edwin paled. His career was flashing before his eyes. "You wouldn't," he whispered. Hazel smiled coldly. "Try me." A flash went off. Not mine, but a society photographer capturing the scene. Perfect. By morning, their humiliation would be complete. "Preston," Emily tried again, tears welling. "Think about Connor. Think about our son." The mention of Connor ignited something inside me. "I'm thinking about him. He's coming home next weekend expecting his mother to be there. What were you planning to tell him? Another conference? Another lie?" Emily's stunned expression confirmed my suspicion. She hadn't thought that far ahead. Too busy playing house with Edwin. "You're making a scene," she whispered desperately. "No, Emily. You made the scene. I'm just making sure everyone sees it." The university president approached, his expression grave. "Is everything all right here?" Hazel stepped forward smoothly. "President Williams, perfect timing. I was just explaining to my husband and Professor Foster that their affair presents significant ethical issues for the university. Perhaps we should discuss appropriate next steps." Emily's face drained of color. Her career, reputation, and marriage were imploding simultaneously in front of everyone who mattered in her professional world. As the crowd's murmurs grew, I felt strangely calm. The storm had finally broken. I'd survived wars, revolutions, and natural disasters through my lens. I would survive this too. I turned to leave, pausing only to say, "I'll have my lawyer contact you, Emily. Don't come home tonight. Or ever." The world didn't end that night, but mine did. Or at least the world I'd known for 26 years. I left the gala alone, declining Hazel's offer of a nightcap. I needed space to process the hurricane we just unleashed. The hotel bar was tempting, but I headed back to my room instead, adrenaline finally giving way to bone-deep exhaustion. My phone buzzed nonstop. Colleagues, friends, even my editor. Word travels fast when scandal hits academia. I ignored them all, silencing everything except calls from Connor. The last thing I needed was my son hearing about this mess from someone else. Around midnight, a knock on my door. I opened it, half expecting Emily, ready for her inevitable plea for forgiveness. Instead, Hazel stood there, still in her red dress but with her hair now loose around her shoulders. She looked different, less the polished political operative, more the wounded woman beneath. "Mind if I come in?" she asked, her voice rough. I stepped aside. She entered, kicked off her heels, and sank into the armchair by the window. "Edwin's career is toast," she said without preamble. "Senator Collins called him personally. He's been asked to resign, effective immediately." And Emily? President Williams suggested she take a leave of absence while the Ethics Committee reviews her position. She looked up at me. "Your wife won't be teaching next semester." I poured 2 glasses of scotch from the minibar. "Not my wife much longer." "No, I suppose not." She accepted the drink. "Any regrets?" I considered the question. "Not about tonight. Just about being blind for so long." "Don't beat yourself up. We see what we want to see in the people we love." She took a long sip. "At least until we can't look away anymore." We sat in companionable silence, 2 strangers connected by betrayal, watching Boston's lights twinkle below. "What happens now?" I finally asked. "Now, we rebuild." Hazel swirled her drink. "I've spent 15 years managing Edwin's career, putting my own ambitions on hold. Maybe it's time I ran for office myself. You'd be good at it." "And you?" "Back to Jordan." I shook my head. "The assignment's been reassigned. Besides, I need to be here for Connor." My phone rang. Connor's ringtone. I glanced apologetically at Hazel. "Take it," she said, standing. "Family comes first." As she moved to leave, I caught her hand. "Thank you for having my back." Her fingers tightened briefly around mine. "We're quite the team, Preston Foster." After she left, I answered Connor's call. It was time to tell my son the truth about his mother, about our fractured family. It would be the hardest assignment of my life. But for the first time since discovering Emily's betrayal, I felt something unexpected stirring in my chest. Hope. Telling Connor was every bit as difficult as I'd imagined. We met at a diner near his campus, neutral territory where he'd feel safe. His face when I finished explaining, the shock, the hurt, the anger, would haunt me for years. "All this time, she's been lying?" he asked, pushing his untouched pancakes away. "While you were in war zones, she was with him." "It wasn't the whole time," I clarified, though it hardly mattered. "From what I can tell, it started about 8 months ago. That's when she started pushing me to stay on campus for breaks instead of coming home." His eyes widened with realization. "She didn't want me around because I might have caught them." "Smart kid. Too smart for his own good sometimes." "I'm sorry you're caught in the middle of this," I said. "You have every right to be angry with both of us." "With both of you?" "Dad, you didn't do anything wrong. I wasn't there enough. My career always came first." Connor shook his head. "That's bull. You were doing your job, making a difference in the world. She knew who you were when she married you." His loyalty squeezed my heart. "She's still your mother, Connor. Whatever happened between us doesn't change that." "Yeah, well, right now I don't want to see her." He stabbed at his pancakes. "Can I stay with you? I don't want to go home and face her yet." "Of course." Though home is currently a hotel room. I hadn't been back to our house since discovering Emily's betrayal. "I need to find an apartment. We can look together." He attempted a smile. Fresh start for both of us. After breakfast, I took Connor to the hotel. As we crossed the lobby, Hazel emerged from the elevator. She was dressed casually in jeans and a sweater, looking younger somehow. "Mr. Foster," she said, then noticed Connor. "Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt." "No interruption," I replied. "Hazel, this is my son, Connor." "Connor, this is Hazel Holloway." Understanding dawned on Connor's face. "You're Edwin's wife." "Soon-to-be ex-wife," she corrected with a gentle smile. "Your father and I have had similar weeks." An awkward silence fell. I was just heading out for coffee, Hazel said. But perhaps another time. Actually, Connor interjected. I've got a study group meeting in an hour. Why don't you two grab coffee? Dad could use the company. Before I could protest, Connor was making excuses about textbooks and deadlines, leaving Hazel and me standing in the lobby. Smart kid, she observed after he'd gone. Perceptive. Gets that from his mother. I said automatically, then winced. Some traits are worth inheriting. She hesitated. That coffee offer stands if you're interested. I should have declined. It was too soon, too complicated. But something about Hazel's straightforward manner was like a breath of fresh air after months of suffocation. I'd like that, I said. I know a place down the street. As we walked into the crisp autumn air, I realized it was the first time in days I wasn't thinking about Emily's betrayal. Maybe that was progress. Over coffee, Hazel and I talked about everything except our failed marriages. She told me about her childhood in Vermont, her abandoned dreams of becoming a constitutional lawyer, her passion for local politics. I shared stories from my travels, the beauty and horror I'd witnessed through my lens, the people who'd changed my perspective. You should compile those into a book, she suggested. The world needs to see what you've seen. Maybe someday, I replied. Right now I need to focus on Connor and finding a place to live. About that, she hesitated. I'm keeping my house in the divorce. Edwin's moving to his parents' place in New Hampshire. It's too big for just me, and I've been thinking of finding a tenant for the guest house. It's private, has its own entrance. Are you offering me a place to stay? Just a suggestion. No pressure. She stirred her coffee. It would be good to have someone trustworthy around. The idea was tempting, but complicated. People might talk. People already are talking. She smiled wryly. At least this way the rent money stays with the wrong party instead of going to some faceless landlord. Her pragmatism was refreshing. No emotional manipulation, just a straightforward proposition. Before I could respond, my phone rang. Emily's ringtone. Hazel noticed my expression. Take it, she said. I need to make some calls anyway. She squeezed my shoulder as she stepped away. I answered the phone, bracing myself. Preston. Emily's voice was raw. I need to see you. To explain. There's nothing to explain. 26 years deserves more than a public execution. Please, just hear me out. Part of me wanted to hang up, but she was right about one thing. Our history deserved better than this. Fine. Tomorrow. Neutral ground. That cafe near the public garden. After ending the call, I found Hazel waiting at a discreet distance. Everything okay? She asked. Just unfinished business. I took a deep breath. About your guest house. I'd like to see it. Sometimes moving forward means taking a leap of faith. 6 months can change everything. Our divorce was finalized in record time. Emily, having lost all leverage after the university, placed her on permanent probation. She moved to California to start over, sending Connor occasional emails that he sometimes even answers. I moved into Hazel's guest house, a temporary arrangement that somehow never seemed temporary. We kept things strictly professional at first. 2 wounded people navigating the aftermath of betrayal. But life has a funny way of rewriting your plans. Today I'm packing for an assignment in Geneva, my first international job since the one I canceled in Jordan. It's a United Nations Commission on Refugee Resettlement, exactly the kind of work that pulled me away from home in the past. The difference now is who's coming with me. Connor called. Hazel announces, entering with 2 coffee mugs. She's dressed casually, her political armor shed for the weekend. He's excited about the internship with that Boston magazine. Like father, like son. I accept the coffee gratefully, though his eye is better than mine ever was. He's got good genes. She sits beside me, close enough that I can smell her perfume. You sure about this Geneva trip? I can still back out if you need space. After everything we've been through, space is the last thing I need. She smiles, the genuine one few people ever see. Who would have thought 6 months ago we'd end up here? Certainly not me. When I met Hazel Holloway in that coffee shop, revenge was the only thing on my mind. I never expected to find a partner, someone who understands both my darkness and my light. I just got off the phone with my editor. I tell her, the refugee retrospective is back on. They want a book. Her eyes widen. Preston, that's wonderful. There's more. I want to include a new chapter about finding home after losing everything. She understands immediately. Our story, if you're okay with that. Instead of answering, She kisses me. A promise, a beginning. Some assignments change your career. Others change your life. Sometimes, if you're very lucky, they do both.